Hello everyone, I'm Khaira, and nice to see familiar faces and not so familiar faces today. So the topic of my talk today is the age of belonging in a world where slavery still exists. And why my topic is this today is, if you look at the words belong or belonging against or mirroring slavery, it's just sad to say that slavery still exists in a world where we're supposed to be very diverse and very global. So when my good friend Yasmin invited me to TEDx, I thought actually I shouldn't be the right person speaking here today. I work with a group of talented women from a refugee community, from the Rohingya community, and I hope that one day actually that people from the community can be up here today instead of me. But today I thought it's important that my voice be heard as well, as a Malaysian and as a youth and as a woman, hence TEDxWomen. So let's begin. So what is momentum? Me as the first speaker today, I thought I'd lighten myself and empower all of us here today, and look at the theme of momentum. I hope it's not just a random theme thrown around, which I don't think it is. So doing a quick Google check or whatever it is, little dictionary you keep at home, it can mean impetus or drive or force. But for me, I was thinking it's more like a push or a reason as to why we're doing what we're doing. And for me, I like this little word, actually, which is heart. At the heart of it, why are we doing what we're doing? And momentum, if you clicked, you're going in the Facebook page, the words transformation and innovation, motion and traction came out. And these are the words I think really relate to the world today, in our capitalistic world, in our world where we talk about profit and gains. And I think that while our world revolves around all these things about technology, about globalization, about markets, economies, development, I think it's very, very important, still important, if not extremely important, to ask ourselves at the heart of it, why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we here today? And for all the speakers, I'm sure this goes through our minds quite often, because in a lot of ways we're leaders, if not leaders of a group of people, and leaders in our own small ways. Why are we doing what we're doing? And in line with that, it's really important to ask ourselves, while we're doing what we're doing, who benefits? Who benefits from us being involved in the entertainment industry? Who benefits from our economies? Who benefits from what we want and what we buy and what we sell, our demand and supply? From our decisions in general, actions, thoughts, our responses, our actions, reactions. And when I think about this question, I think about this, what happened a few weeks ago. Rohingya and Bangladeshi people on boats, which we say, push back, go back, go back, go back. And this really saddens me, because I believe that seeking asylum is a human right. And while that sounds nice and positive, I think more importantly, we need to remind ourselves that while seeking asylum and refugee is a human right, on the other side, if you want to say it in a different way, is that human trafficking is modern-day slavery. And I think it's very sad that, a lot of times that we're comfortable in wherever we are and we forget what's happening outside. And a lot of people say, the boat crisis happening right now. Actually, the crisis has been happening since the late 80s and 90s. We all know this. And many international news media, they say that they've known about this detention holding camps in the middle of the jungle somewhere. It's been going on. And even more so, if you look at human trafficking in general, which is really the forced labor or the forced movement of people from one place to another, and for the Rohingya refugees, they're forced to leave, and so traffickers or people smugglers take advantage of them and abduct them and extort them. Human trafficking is the second biggest syndicate in the world. And really, why is it relevant for me to talk here today? It's because all of us are connected to it somehow or the other. And look at more statistics, or let's begin to look at the statistics. Slave traders, as of last year, 2014, made more than Google, Starbucks, and Nike combined. All our favorite companies, they made more than that combined. And I think that says a lot. So let's look more into human trafficking. and human trafficking statistics. Between 1 million and 4 million women, men, and children globally are trafficked around the world. But let's look at it more in this region, and we find out that 75% of human trafficking happens within this region alone. And this is a map, just to show you very briefly, just on the very right there, that's Southeast Asia, and it's right, this is what we're doing. It's, you know, we were saying with ourselves earlier, with some of the speakers, it's not happening in our backyards, no, it's happening right in front of our eyes. And I think we choose to ignore it. And so let's look at deeper now, or smaller into Malaysia. What are the statistics? There are 150,000 plus refugees in our country. And these people have been trafficked, smuggled. If they were smuggled, there's a fine line between willingly wanting to leave and someone using your willingness to leave as an advantage to make a quick buck out of it. Today, an individual person pays up to more than 10,000 ringgit just to move, and even that is not guaranteed that you'll get to Malaysia safely. A lot of times you're killed or you're sold off to some other boats or to traffickers, or the 5.5 million migrant workers are sold off to different people. You sign a contract in your country, you come to Malaysia or wherever it is that you're being sent to or sold to, and you realize it's a totally different contract. So this is what's happening in Malaysia. And why is human trafficking today very important in today's forum, really? I mean, I believe it's not just about the numbers, but if we want to just talk about the numbers, again, holistically, generally, it's 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked cross international borders every year. And from that number, 80% of trafficked people are women, and from that number, 50% of those are children. And if you look at it even more, of this 50% of children, 2 out of 3 trafficked children are girls. So what are we doing? And remember again that 70 to 75% happening in this region. So how is this happening? I mean, I'm concerned. If I'm not standing here as a campaigner or as an activist. I'm standing here as a concerned citizen, or just someone living on this earth, really. What is happening? And yes, we can blame our governments and so on, but I think there's something else that we can do as well. And I believe that looking into human trafficking is looking into our political institutions and how we as citizens, if not people on this earth, just living on this earth, respond and act against human trafficking, or respond towards people who arrive on boats who have no other place to go, and we're asking them, go back, go back. It's easy to say that when we don't know those people on the boats. But if it were our own families, our own children, our own daughters and sisters or mothers or best friends, I think we'd think twice about it. You know, and someone once said to a friend of mine in the place I work in, is that I'm not political. And my friend responded, what is political? You need shelter, right? You need food, you need education. Well, that's political. And that's basic human needs is political because it's being controlled by such bigger forces, by systems that we just don't want to be a part of because we've already had those things, and so we take them for granted. And I think if we don't respond to the crisis happening now, which again happened actually decades ago, we really are promoting this sort of thing, which is voice or no voice. The people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them that they're being attacked, that they're taking our space in this country, that they're criminals, that they're taking our jobs, that they're a threat to our health security and a threat to our borders, and denounce the pacifists and activists and people voicing out their concerns and denounce them for their lack of patriotism, that, you know, actually you're not from this country, right? You're just saying all these things, but you don't understand what's going on. If we just denounce that voice and expose the country to danger, it works the same in any country, and you let people in power do whatever they want. And who said this? The person who said this is a right-wing man for Hitler. And I believe today, while it's not obvious we're going through a third world war or whatever it is, surprisingly or not, we're living among people who have these ideals. And an anonymous quote here, and I think, yeah, maybe I'm being idealistic, but then again, maybe I'm not, because everyone has the right to live on this earth. People were created to be loved. Things were created to be used. The reason why the world is in chaos is because things are being loved and people are being used. So we're treating people like objects here. They can be sold, they can be bought. Really, what is our response here to this sort of thing, to modern day slavery, basically? I believe that we all want to belong, and why I use the word belong in the beginning of my speech and my topic, and which relates to slavery, it's because it's about human rights. Whether political or not, it's about everyone has a basic need. If you're a psychologist, you look at the theory, Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs, and you can build it along there. Everyone needs a home. Everyone wants to belong at home, in a workplace, amongst your friends, amongst strangers, amongst people you meet today. You want to be acknowledged, like Karen, our amazing MC, said just now, say hi to the person next to you. But it's funny that we need to remind ourselves to say hi to the person next to you. And we want to be acknowledged, like Karen was saying just now. And mostly we want to be loved. Gloria Steinem, a political activist, said that change happens between 200 years. And I believe that change can start now. So what can we do? What are the tangible things that we can do? Unfortunately, I'm not going to answer that for you. But I'm going to give you a few ideas and challenge each other here. I believe that in Malaysia right now, we have this thing called, my theory, it's called mass amnesia, because we're about our independence, from the day of our independence, we're about 50 plus years old. Meaning, from independence or before that, there were people at the top who decided, okay, I think we'll let certain groups of people remain here. They're already here. They can contribute to our economy. They can even be given citizenship. And these people weren't even asylum seekers or refugees. But today, when refugees are at our borders, please go away. And it's an irony. So I think that we have a mass amnesia. My mom is indigenous here, but my father is not. So, and I believe that if the two of them, if my father's family were not allowed to stay here, were asked to leave, then who knows what my history would be. So I believe that it's not just about looking at Malaysia's history, but look at your own family history as Malaysians. Look back into 3 generations, 4 generations ago. We're very new here. And so if you're an academician, you like this, words, or you're a student, Edward Said, he talked about othering. And this is what I think Malaysians like to do, not just with migrant workers and refugees. We do that within ourselves as well. Like, I'm a man, you're a woman, so I have a little bit more rights than you. You can't go to work, you can't talk when you want to. There's certain areas in which you can talk and you can't. Or I'm straight, you're not, so I can have certain rights you can't. Or I'm Malaysian and you're a foreigner. But even that, I would like to question that. This quote over here, "You are the only Malaysian friend I have," it's a horrible quote, I think. Yeah, great, I'm your only Malaysian friend I have, and this is a friend of mine who's a refugee who said that to me. But that's horrible, because I imagine if I ever go overseas to study, and the only people I could ever make friends with were Malaysians, or people who look like me, what a horrible place I would be in. I would want to leave that place. And so I challenge you, I challenge myself as well. Do we have friends who are migrants and refugees? And you don't have to answer that now, you can go back and think about it. And the next question related to that, and this question you can take it rhetorically or not, or practically in your lives. Do we have friends who are expats? And let me ask you what the difference between those two or those 3 are. So Malaysia, I believe, from what I've talked about, has a history of belonging. I believe that all of us are really, really mixed. Even those who say that they're from here, like my mom's family, for example, we're also very, very mixed. We'll say, yeah, we're from Nusantara, meaning we're from Java, or we're from Philippines, or from Brunei, and so on. But some of us are also from China, from India, and a lot of people pride themselves from being all the way from Saudi Arabia, for example, and we know that. It's an open thing. But if you don't believe that Malaysia has a history of belonging, then that's fine. I just hope that we can have a future of belonging. And I think that's more important, looking ahead and seeing what we can do now and what the impact is in the next 50 years. We've gone through 50 years, and let's see what we can do for the next 50 years. So going back to momentum, is that, yeah, Gloria Steinem said it takes 200 years to make a change, but this quote, I think, applies as well. Is a little girl who was also part of the Nazi, takeover, and she said, which is Anne Frank, by the way, if you've read her diary, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. And I believe that. I think that we all can do in our little ways. For example, if you see someone on the road who's a migrant worker, it's just someone sweeping the road, right? No, I think that the person has family back home. The person has dreams and hopes and so on. And I guess it's easy if someone's out at sea somewhere and you don't see them, but actually we have people right here in our own country. If you look at the numbers, we have more than 150 people who are refugees in this country, 5.5 million who are migrant workers, and from that 5.5, about 45% contribute to our workforce. And in fact, the numbers are increasing because that 150,000 refugees are those registered with UNHCR, which is the UN agency for refugees. There are thousands more not registered. In Penang alone, those registered with the UN, it's 11,000 plus. If you're considering those not registered and those coming in, I would say the numbers are double. So, what does it mean to be Malaysian and to be a human being? And I believe that we all can do it. And earlier on, I spoke about the woman who could actually be speaking here instead of me. And I believe that in the future, that we all can have a future of belonging if we extend that belonging to someone else. Thank you.